Correct. Hey YouTube, it's your favorite mega church called Survival of the Order, and I'm live on Instagram and I'm live on TikTok. And this is part 2. I'm just going to be lying down here, but I think it's quite cute with the unicorns and the teddies or whatever. And I'm so comfortable. As you know, I'm disabled. As a result of the trauma, it just led to me having like autoimmune diseases, which happens when you're in these really abusive environments. God, this angle is absolutely awful on YouTube, but I'm going to thug it out because I am weak and I am tired. Oh, I always forget that my iPad, my tripod moves like that. I am getting my nail done on Monday. Nail shops down here don't open on Sunday, so it is what it is. All right. Do you know what? This is going to distract me. Cardi B is going to distract me because I'm going to want to just sing along. So I've been talking about how these cults, I've been reflecting on, like when I was in there, they used to talk a lot about the spirit man. They used to talk a lot about edifying the spirit. There's a lot of false doctrine and just human fecal matter doctrine and rhetoric around tongues, okay? And there's been a lot of false teaching. So unfortunately, there's a lot of people thinking that Shabaya, Shakaya, is some sort of communication with God, a language that only them and I think it's the angels. Apparently, when you speak in tongue, because do you know what's happened? It's gone from like scripture to Chinese whispers to just straight up myths. Do you know what I mean? So now where we're at is it's a language, it's a heavenly language that the devil can't understand. When I think back, I think to myself, oh my gosh, how did I like fall for this human fecal matter? But guys, when you're in there, it's so real. I think I want to just mention the verses and scriptures that they use, to be fair, because I don't think I can talk about it without kind of talking about the context. Yeah. So I'm going to be covering the biblical texts that church cults use to justify edifying the spirit man through practices like tongues. Then we're going to move through, because we know that the tongues that they do up as mind altered practices. So I still love to speak in tongues. You know what I mean? I think it's a very spiritual, special experience. But the way that they do it in this cult, it's just mind altered practices. Okay. So then we're going to get into the psychology, neuroscience, sociology, philosophy, metaphysics, and the concrete health outcomes as to why survivors end up with chronic illnesses. And then, babe, you're supposed to be a coach. Go and make some money, girl. Because I'm not about money. Do you understand? I've never begged for bread. Not online, not in real life. I just come on here to heal. But gal like you, whenever you've got coach, life coach mindset, whatever, y'all love to beg for bread. And as you know, the righteous, they never beg for bread, honey. Yeah? So when you're coming in and you're saying your identity in Christ, I don't know what you're talking about now. I don't know what you're talking. It doesn't resonate. Sorry, girl. It don't resonate, baby. All right. If you're on TikTok, can you please like the live for me, please? I'm going to ask you if you are, on the FYP, if you could please come in and help us like the live, because they are active today. And you know what they're like. They have no lives. They've got nothing going on in there. Nothing going on. When you're in there, it's like, imagine the same day repeating over and over again. That's the only way I can describe it. Like the same day preaching, like repeating over and over again. So that's why the people in there, like, there's no growth. There's no, I just think, yeah, probably the growth is the right word to use. There's no growth. So people are just stagnant. That's why when survivors say that it felt like time stopped, that's what they mean. Because really, how do we know that times and seasons and whatever change? It's through the advancement of things, isn't it? There's no advancements. The only advancements are in there is when they do like little things, like, oh, we've created this ministry, or an extension of this ministry. There is no what do you mean, my love? But is it future faking? Give me a little bit more, babe. They're just so fake in these environments. Miss L Rose, are you here? Oh, I hope Miss L Rose comes back on. All right. So we're going to look at the scriptures that they use. Yeah. So what the Bible text actually says. So the main scriptures that they use in these cults to indoctrinate you with this human fecal matter is 1 Corinthians 14:2, 4 is sorry, 1 Corinthians 14:2 and then 4:14. For one who speaks in a tongue speaks not unto men but to God, for no one understands him, but he utters mysteries in the spirit. He who speaks in a tongue edifies himself. For if I pray in a tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. So the ideology is like, it's almost like they sell it like this spiritual practice. And because the mind's unfruitful, it's like it takes a lot of like concentration to like, pray in tongues. So they see it as like a spiritual marathon, like a spiritual exercise. It's this absolute human fecal matter. They use this scripture because what they do is they use scriptures and then they start using all of these. My cult called it windows. But it's all these like weird examples, man. They just take it to the World Cup. They just take it somewhere else. So now they start talking about, speaking in tongues because it says edify the spirit man. They start to look into all these different like translations, and then they bring in Greek and they bring in Latin, and they talk about the Greek word and the Latin word, and they just start changing it into a whole. So now, do you see how now it's become a doctrine? And now it's like you're not born again. You can't be a Pentecostal if you don't speak in tongues. I'm not saying they all do it, but there's a lot of pressure to speak in these tongues. It's like an initiation. There's so many like ritualistic initiation type of practices that they do up in there, and these are all major red flags. So when they talk about like edifying the spirit man and it being like a spiritual exercise, it's a red flag. Just go, just leave. Please leave. Please leave. You're just going to waste your youth and your life. And do you know what's really sad? I'm sad for the younger generation, but I'm happy that like these church cults, yeah, it's a different generation, a different time. Like before there was no one speaking out. Now there's a collective. Now there's a movement. Now there's me, bitch. So it's like when people come out, do you think they're going to be happy when they come out? And it's 5 years later, and it's 4 years later, and it's 10 years later, and you were demonizing me online and telling me that it was human fecal matter. And then when your members start to realize, they're just coming straight to me now. That's all that people are doing. Like they have their time, and then they come to me when the time's right, when they've processed it. And you know what I'm going to say to people, like, especially if you're listening on FYP, don't let them get away with it. You say, oh, God's going to deal with it. Do you know what I'm going to do? You see, because if it weren't for the survivors who really like benefit from the content, I would have just like come offline for a whole week. Just to teach the people that like sit on the fence, like the people that are like claiming that they're, believers and whatever. What is, do you understand? Like, or it wouldn't need to, it would have to be like a month, not a week. Because people might not notice after a week. It would have to be a block period, like a month. I'd just take out the month and just focus on writing my book and go into hibernation and just disappear for a month. Manipulating false future, fake future assurances. So you're constantly in the future. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to change the backdrop on TikTok so that I can see everyone. Welcome, YouTube. I just, do you know what? I just feel so self-conscious with my this isn't any better, is it? I just feel so self-conscious with my short nail. I've been thinking transitioning to short nails, guys. What do you guys think? Like just like short dark nails. Oh my God, I look an absolute mess, guys. I'm really not feeling well, man. When I feel like this, I have to preserve my energy. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh my gosh, TikTok, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to find my picture. Raw boy, it's far up now. Thanks for the follow, Diana. All right. So what I think user 150 is saying this, because I was talking about time stopping and whatnot, and this fits into that really nicely. So they do manipulate the false future. They talk a lot about a future. And it's black and white thinking, so it's gonna be too drastic, too dramatic, guys. My vocab's gone. I'm so tired. So it's either gonna be like all about heaven, you know, mansions in heaven, golden streets, whatever they do up, or it's gonna be what was I talking about? I was saying mansions manipulating false time. Yeah, it's going to be HELL. I was trying to say something different, but I can't remember. And so what happens is no. It's either you're heavenly minded, you're building mansions in heaven, or it's apocalyptic. Yeah, so it is about HELL, but the word I wanted to use was apocalyptic. So it's very fair based, like end times, world is coming to an end, you know, like very scary. So they've got you in this future, this grip. They've got you in this, what do they say? Neck, what is it? Oh my God, I can't even think. Fake future show. Guys, I'm so tired. But I'm going to get through this because I need to come on and do this. So they've got your head in the clouds. Do you know what I mean? In the future. You're consistently in the future. You're constantly in the future. Yes, constantly in the future. Because they want you to be, remember I say this, guys, they want you to be anywhere but the present. Anywhere but the present. You can be in yesterday. You can be in last year. You can be in wherever, but not the present. Because that's how they control you. They want you to be in, like, do you know what, guys? They love vulnerable people. Like, I went to the shop today, yeah, and some random woman started speaking to me, yeah. She had so many issues. I felt so bad for her. Like alcohol and substances and whatever. And she was speaking to me and she was a bit upset and whatever. I'm not going to go into what she was talking about. And I just thought at this moment when I was speaking to her, like, if this was me before, I would have been given this woman to become born again, give her life. Like, she was talking about some other stuff to be like, and she was like, are you going to help me? And I just felt so bad because I can't help you. I had to tell her, babe, like, I can't help myself. But I can just offer you this time to speak to you, do you know what I mean? And just like give you some time. Because how many people are going to walk past this woman and just not even human fecal matter on her, right? So to me, that's showing the love of Christ. And I'm not going to say what I said and did and whatever, but I think that is showing like the love of Christ, right? But this is how like really vulnerable people like this end up in these spaces, guys. It's like when they've got like there's no way out. There's no they can't even help themselves. Like, that's how bad it is. And that's why when you hear them and they're all saying, oh, I was an addict, I was this, I was that. The reason they have to create that like born again rhetoric and testimonies and whatever is because they have to like package the faith, the religion. Do you get what I'm saying? In a way that like people can see it. So the fake testimony culture it's all about money. Because it all goes back to that. Do you know what I mean? Like the control, people believing in this mob for them to do everything, and everything comes back to money. That's all it's about. It's really heartbreaking to like come to that realization, but once you come to that realization, it will give you so much peace. You know, like when you come out and you're trying to like figure everything out, and that's how people go like lose it, like lose their mind. The main thing you need to grasp when you come out is it's just been all about money. That's it. Once you can grasp that, then the behavior, all of that all makes sense. Sorry guys, I'm just loving my hair because I curled it and I braided it, and I was just hearing so much traumatic things yesterday from survivors. I just started going to my mirror and just started braiding my hair and put on some relaxing music. So I have my ways of dealing with things, and that's why I find it so funny when, you know, the sanctimonious, holier than thou people. It's like, babe, I'm looking at you and I can tell that you're struggling. It's visibly on you, and your hair, and you like what do you think that you could possibly have? What do you think that you could possibly have to offer me? Do you know what I'm saying? Like the things that I deal with like on a day-to-day basis, and you know, it's like all my grounding practices and like all my spiritual practices and the knowledge that I've acquired that's taken me years. I haven't just walked into a place of worship, said the sinner's prayer, and you know, started copying the pastor. and then they want to come and think that they can help me in some way. And it's just like, babe, give me a Kit Kat. Oh my God, guys, I think I'm so tired. I think I'm going to do this one bit. But because you use the 1.5 those on here. Oh, look, oh, Sassa's come on. All right, let me stay on a bit more. Is that means what? Is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is on her? Or did you just come in by accident? Is that A? No, wait, hold on. If that's A. Oh. Survivors, how are you doing? Because this is a smaller group today. YouTube, Instagram, guys, be honest. TikTok, how are you lot doing? Because I think I'm just, guys, do you know, I don't think I've actually processed like the magnitude of it. Like, oh, hey, bro. It's so nice to see you. All right. So they use these scriptures, right? And then I'm just going to read this bit here. For if I pray in tongues, my spirit prays, but my understanding, my mind, is unfruitful. So these are the primary biblical basis used by many church cults to say that tongues edifies the spirit of the believer, i.e. that speaking in tongues is a way that the spirit prays and is built up. But if the tongues that they're doing up in there worked, yeah, and because guys, you got to remember, yeah, they've been fooling a lot of us. Let's strip this back. Do you know what this is about? This is about spiritual power, because these mogs claim that they have all this spiritual power and blah blah blah. So if you claim that these tongues have the spiritual power, because they claim that we're speaking in like this unknown tongues that only us and God can understand, so the devil doesn't know the plans. So they say things like, oh, you could be praying for your family member that's going to get into like an accident or something like that. Guys, please like up the live on TikTok. And then when people's family members unalive, they're like, oh, they're sinners. They weren't born again. That's why they unalive. You know, they really get into your psyche. Do you see how manipulative it is? Do you not see? This is the real witchcraft. Not cauldrons and broomsticks and potions. Guys, do you know what? I'm not going to lie. Like, when I get money, that's the one, like brand that I would, like, you know, like, wear as my everyday is Ralph Lauren. I can't even lie. Ralph Lauren, but it would be all the vintage pieces, you know, from the 90s, just like that capsule wardrobe, black, tan, white with navies. I think, do you know what else I think is so funny? You know, these washed up like 304s turn wogs and whatever and whatnot. It's really funny because, you know, I'm from the ghetto of Chelsea, yeah. But what makes it so special, like when you're from Western stuff, because everyone's from the ghetto, do you know what I mean? That's why we're in there. Like, it doesn't matter how bougie you try to go on. So the reason why I've got one up on these 304s, yeah, is because I didn't grow up in, like, you know, like the gutter. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in the hood of Chelsea. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my point being is that they try to be like, you know, like epitomize that Chelsea, that London, you know, even the way they try to speak and the way they try to present themselves, and, you know, everything's so perfect, and I'm so like, you know, old fashioned money and posh, and it's just like, baby, I grew up with seeing like all of these being around like the top 5%. Like David Beckham lives in Notting Hill. That's why, you know, all the footballers, the Chelsea footballers, and that, they're always getting their watches snatched and, you know, things like that, because of the young people. You know, like, because it's like we're all hungry outside in these streets, and then you lot are just like all in your Lambos. And what the young people were doing, because, you know, I used to work with like the GMs and all that. Hey, curvy vibes. And they were doing up this thing, yeah, where they were going like and acting like they were fans, you know, to the footballers, and then snatching their watches. Can you imagine? So anyway, people are hungry outside in these streets, yeah. So my point is, I'm not, and no offense, because you lot know I'm mixed race. I'm half South London and half West. So I'm not trying to put down South, but I need to talk about South because a lot of the these cults are in South, and a lot of these gal them are just gal them from South London. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, babe, it's like you're from Camberwell, but you want to sound like and act like you're from Chelsea, but that's where I'm from. Do you know what I mean? So when I see them doing this stuff, I find it so laughable, because it's almost like what they think the top 5% are going to wear, or what they think the top 5% how they live, or how they, and so it's quite funny. Anyway, I digress. So now I'm going to get into the sociology of all of this. Yeah. So how does this edifying of the spirit man and the triune God, the triune theology, which is about mind, body, and spirit. So to give it to you in a nutshell, that whole ideology is about there being like 3 dimensions made in the Father's image: mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and spirit. Sorry. No, spirit, soul. The man has a is it a vessel? A man it's something like a man is a vessel. No, a man has a body. Man is a spirit. Yes, bitch. Man is a spirit that lives in a body that has a soul, baby. That's like the basics of like new believers. New believers school. I feel so proud of myself that 18 years later, I still know new believers Dag Heward Mills doctrine. It hasn't gone. I love you, Daddy. I love you, Dag. I love that. Guys, I would sit on here and speak to myself and just look at my hair and adore myself while speaking about Dag, and then like watch my videos back to deconstruct myself just so it stays in there. They also drag young people in with their fake GM stories. There's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, 'cause you're doing me wrong, so wrong, when all of my pride was gone. Oh no. There's something inside so strong. Oh, there's something inside so strong. Saying what they used to do in these streets. Oh, Sass, we know there weren't no GMs in that culture. A GM is like, I'm trying to think of someone that I can use that. Do you know Gigs? Because I'm like, babe, I was in this cult for 18 years. I don't know who the hell he is who. Like, oh, do you know who Crept is? Crept and Conan. Sasha's baby daddy. Because I know him. I know him. That's all I know. I don't really know people because I was in the cult. Yeah, you do, Osas, but 150 is asking. All right, yeah, Digger D, that's a good. But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not condoning like GM violence and stuff, but I am proud of Digger D. Do you know what I mean? From being from Grove, because he ain't an idiot. W10, baby. I'm only joking. Guys, do you know what? I'm going to talk about it now because me and the survivor are cool, yeah. But there was a survivor that snitched on me, yeah, that went to the popo, yeah. And he was trying to say that, like, I had some affiliation with Diggity and stuff, guys. It was so funny, man. Oh, my God. Your soul has been bought long time. What do you mean, babe? This is a no psycho go zone. I'm only joking. What do you mean by that, babe? Let me give you a chance. All right. So yeah, so man is a spirit that lives in a body that has a soul. Okay, so it's like we're made in God's image, and there's these 3 parts, but the only part that matters is the spirit. All right, that's all they care about. That's all they talk about. That's all they emphasize on. So what they say is like, they say like basically when you unalive, yeah, like this vessel that we're in, it's just gonna like, we're not even gonna have these vessels. Then there's some scripture, I don't know where it is, it might be Revelation, someone might be able to tell me, you know, where they tell you you're going to have this new vessel, like this new body, you know, when you go to heaven and that, yeah. So it's like the way they brainwash you is like your body is going to have like no use. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you unalive, the body is just going to like decay and rot. So what's the point? Just unalive, just go ham for Jesus. That's how they do it, man. Do you know what? Like sometimes I'm like, God, why did you give me like such a pure heart? Do you know what I mean? Because I would have loved to have just been like, you know, these Sasha Elises and co, and just, you know, like made money, like just been like a fake prophetess. Oh, thanks, Kiko. What did Kiko get? A little badge. Guys, I just need a minute because this is. Do you know how triggering this is for me, man? This is so triggering. Like this is what they actually did to me, Chair. All right, let's just get it. Let's get it. So let's look at the sociology, the group dynamics, and the boundary management. So how this affects you across these spheres. So boundary maintenance. So elevating the spiritual creates a clear us versus them boundary. We're spiritual. Outsiders are worldly. Wow. Wow. Ooh! It's getting hot in here, so hot. I'm gonna deconstruct you. Chatty GP said I'm gonna deprogram you. Are you mad? So oh my God, this is blown my mind. So elevating the spiritual, so the spirit man, the spirit body, whatever, it creates a clear us versus them, because it's like people in the world don't do that, do they? They don't like talk about or focus on the spirit. They're focusing on bills, getting paid of telephone bills. That's why the Dusties marry the gal them that are like pick-me's in there. Anyway, I digress. So it does up the us versus them. We're spiritual, outsiders are worldly. I didn't even clock that, like clock it. That's what gives us that elevated status, the elitist status. Like, I'm better than you. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a sinner. I've been saved. Do you know what's so funny? You know what's so dangerous about that rhetoric? They're so fixated on this sinner, devil, angel. It's so black and white. It results them to like very like, you know, like childlike, like nursery type of like cognition. And then it just turns into this very black and white thinking. And what this does is this allows the group to justify isolation from outside institutions, doctors, schools, regulators, etc. Because they're not like us. Do they pray in tongues? Do they know God? They might be able to save your life, but do they know God? They might be able to help change your life, but do they know God? I've never seen so much hypocrisy and EVIL than in these places and spaces of worship in my life. But I'll tell you one thing that I do like. I've been thinking about, and I don't think I'm going to let go of, is the communion, the blood of Jesus, and the body of Christ. I don't think I want to let that go. I like that little ritual. You and I, we're really that different, really. We're really that different, really, when you think about it. Because I do like the symbolism of it. You know what it means, the drinking of the blood and the eating of the body. I digress. So, role of charismatic authority. A charismatic leader who interprets scripture and says, this is God's way, can override institutional checks and normal safety standards. Social networks are restructured so the group becomes the primary source of information and care. So that's why one of the like the first characteristic of a cult is the charismatic leader, because that charismatic authority, and it's not about them, because a lot of these guys are just EVIL. They're not sociable. They're rude. They're cantankerous, obnoxious. So when you think of charisma, you think more of like Onyeka. You know, Onyeka Fake Power, the one that prances around, because that's charismatic, and that's what you think. You're thinking of cabaret, you're thinking of Chicago, but that's not the charisma that we're talking about. We're talking about the ability that for someone to like grip someone in, he's even the same age as them, to be able to follow them, and they say jump and they say how high. It's also the ability to have like that confidence and that boldness to be able to preach the word of God in front of, you know, groups of people that turns into hundreds, and be able to build these fake institutions. Okay, so that cuts off all outside information, because even if they're like, oh whatever, they are doing up like you know, controlling the information that you're privy to, controlling, you know, what you can and cannot read. It's almost like a Stephen Hassan calls it something called expert, but it's like a almost like a glossary. There's like an approved list. Hey Queen Lush, there's like an approved list of who you can listen to, what books you can read, what books you can't read. What it's just, there's just, guys, the only way I can describe these settings is that there's a lot of rules. There's just a lot of rules, man. You can't even breathe in there, yeah. Oh my God, I don't know how I did it. But do you know what, guys? I was just offline. And then I had my kids, you know. You focus on your kids. That's why when Sasha Elise sat there and was trying to do Up Holier Than Thou, I thought, oh, shush your mouth. Do you know what I mean? When you can concentrate on your kids can keep you busy until they're at least 18. Like, be quiet. You know, like now you've had all the mandem and whatnot, and like you're sitting on millions. Now you want to be coming and if that girl's really serious, she'll give up her wealth. What was it when Christ was speaking to, who was it? Was it Nicodemus? Who was it? And then Christ said to sell. What's that, guys? What's that scripture about? Because I need to do a little bit of content telling her that she needs to be like Nicodemus or whatever and sell her wealth. She needs to go and give it to the poor. And then if that girl gives it to the poor, gives all her money to the poor, yeah, and raises them kids like everybody else, and then comes and sits there and wants to tell me about, come and sit there and chat. Do you know what I mean? You ain't even spent a year by yourself, babe. You ain't spent a year by yourself to love yourself and know yourself, and you want to be sitting down and leading vulnerable women to where? Where are you leading them to? What are you teaching young women? What could you possibly teach young women? How to do what?
Don't worry. Turn these pictures into words.
How to model in a bikini? Come on, man. And that's what I say, when they convert, yeah, you don't have to be intelligent. You don't need to have accolade. There's no qualification. Just apart from saying that Jesus is Lord and internalizing misogyny and patriarchy, and you're part of the club, you're part of the sorority. It's like, what? And it's just so clear. It's clear as day now. It's crystal clear what it's become. And guys, I'm not the bearer of bad news. I'm the bearer of freedom. Don't you see? God wants to set the captives free, man. We were captives. Thank God I still was able to hold on to my faith. And this is no, like, if you're atheist, you know I love you, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't, guys. But, you know, as the more I'm deconstructing and deprogramming, the deeper I'm falling in love with God. I can't lie to you. Sorry. Because I was so afraid when I left that I was going to lose Jesus, man. I was so scared I was going to lose Jesus. I didn't want to lose Christ, you know, because I really loved Christ, and I didn't want to lose Jesus. I didn't want to lose it. And they put so much fear in you because they know, like, because we're in there, like, we really love God, like, we really love God. That's why we're in there. Oh, thanks, Eunice. And I thought I was going to lose Christ. And when I'm ready to tell my full story, I will, guys, because I've been through a lot, man. And I remember when I just had enough. They take advantage of vulnerable people, babe, they do. And I just fell to my knees. And I wasn't able to listen to gospel music or anything because it was so triggering. And I'm trying to remember what song I was playing. I think I was playing I owe to you. I can't even sing it, like it's Kira Sheard song anyways. and I fell to my knees, and yeah, it is. And I just remember falling to my knees, and I was just asking Christ to just save me again, like save me, because at that point I was like, I felt like I was just gonna end it all, guys. I couldn't do it anymore. I just said I felt like I couldn't do it, and then I called on the name of Jesus. I did that night, and that's when I did my first ever video, guys. On that night, it was that night I did my first ever video. And I don't think anyone understands like how deep this is, like, because they like indoctrinate you to like how can someone say that they're going to take Christ away from you? Do you know how deep that is? Like, that's what they do. There's like so much fear and like threats around, like you know, like you losing Christ. And for me, it wasn't even so much about the HELL. It was just losing Christ. I didn't want to lose Jesus, because I love Jesus so much, man. You know, and I thought that I needed to be in church to love Jesus this much. I thought I needed to be like, you know, serving and being the pastor, and it was through the things that I did. So because I thought it was attached to the cult and the things that I did, and then they tell you about curses as well. There's a lot of curses. So I was thinking, by the time I left, I was thinking like, I'm cursed. I've lost Jesus. You know, like Christ ain't with me no more. I ain't got no spiritual covering. Like, I was so scared. Like, I really felt like these people had power over me. And it took me so much to build my identity back up in Christ. It took so much, like, to build myself back up, and I had to like almost like take my brain out of my mind, like deprogram it all, put it back together, because I didn't. It would have been easier to just deconstruct Christianity and God out of my psyche and move on. So then that shifts my reality, and then I'm in a different. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to let go of Christ. I didn't want to let go. And that's why I'm on here every day, guys, because they nearly made a shipwreck of my faith. Like, take my money, man. Like, take my house. Like, you can take my car. Like, take anything. Like, but then take Christ. And the thing is, the truth is, yeah, guys, when I first came into that cult, like, my boyfriend had been unalived in police custody, right? And I didn't have no desire to be with no man, nothing. I just wanted to like serve God. Thank you, babe. I appreciate you saying something. I do. just even like, and just to be a nun. Hi, Miss Green. Babe, I'm just talking about, like when I was like, because when you're in there, babe, and like they make you so afraid that like you're gonna lose Christ. Do you know what I'm talking about, girl? Like how they do it, like when they make you feel like when you leave, you're gonna be a sinner, you're gonna lose Jesus. Like there's so much like fear and psychological control, and I was just so scared that I wasn't gonna, I was gonna go like back into the world and I was gonna lose Jesus. Like that's why I stayed for so long. That's why I stayed for so long. Because I really believed like in my psyche, and it's probably because I'm neurodivergent. I really believed in my psyche, like I took it literally, like what Dag said literally. So like when he's saying that like it's a spiritual like institution, and I'm vulnerable. They took advantage of a vulnerable adult because I've got BPD, I've got CPTSD, I'm getting an assessment for ADHD and autism. I'm really vulnerable. So everything they were saying, I was taking literally. So when he used to come and preach and say that he doesn't take none of the money, like it's all for God, like this, that, and the third, and he would say he wears the same trousers and the same shoes. I believed it. I believed that he was like not making no money out of it. Guys, it was only until like 2014 when I recruited my ex-husband from outside, and he said, Bishop Richard's a rich man. I said, what? I said, no, he's not. I said, all the money goes to the church. He said, Leah, are you joking? He's like, do you know how much money they make? And even then, I couldn't like conceptualize it because it's almost like they make you DUMB. But like some people will be there that aren't as vulnerable, and they might not give as much money or whatever. But I was given everything. I was given every penny I had. I gave that place so much money. I got BPD and PTSD. I'm gonna heal the right way. Yeah. Babe, people like you and me were actually very like gifted spiritually, yeah. So that's why you'll feel a pull to like a lot of these prophetic, like these like a lot of the chosen. They can get like hoodwinked by these like counterfeits with these weird, that promise that they can heal us and all of this, but they can't. You're right, babe. There's no easy way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, guys, believe what you bloody want. I tell you, believe what you want, man. But you can't find no truth in there, man. There's no Christ in there. There's no Christ in there. There's no Christ in there, man. Anyway, let me get back onto it. But it's just, I think as I'm reading this, I think it's really deconstructing me. So it's just like, this is Miss Green, I've been quite emotional today because I've had a lot going on. It's just been for this whole week, it's just been like left, right and center. So I'm just, if I could disappear, I would, you know what I mean? All right. So let me get back onto what we were speaking about, guys, because I don't want to get sidetracked. All right, so let's look into the neuroscience and the physiology, how the brain and body respond to prolonged group stress and practices. All right, so the HP axis, guys, this is going to come with a trigger warning. I don't know why, because I'm going into neuroscience and physiology now, so it does get a bit deeper. So if you're not ready to kind of, look at how it affects the brain and the autoimmune diseases and things like that, then it's just not going to be for you, all right? I prefer you to just leave if it's going to be triggering. So HPA axis, glucocorticoid corticoids, and immune change. So I wanted to get into what the HPA axis is a little bit more, because I've seen this whenever I talk about the neuroscience or the physiology of anything that I talk about along these lines. This HPA axis thing keeps coming up, and I don't just want to like skim over it without us really getting a extensive understanding of what this is. So I'm just going to do like a quick rundown, and this is more for myself than anyone else. You lot might know what this is already, but the HPA axis is the body's main stress response system. Okay, so it involves a feedback loop between the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands. Oh my God. Guys, that's my condition, Addison's. It's my adrenal glands. Spray it onto the dish and load it in. The grease just melts away. And when I hand wash, and I get the power of an overnight soak in minutes. All right, collective, let's do this together. New Fairy Skip Soap Power Spray. Thanks for being here with me, collective. I appreciate this, because I know it's like really heavy stuff to like hold the space and be on here and be able to hold that space for me. And I just want to say that I really do appreciate you, collective, and I do need the collective right now. I'm processing a lot, man. I think I'm gonna need you guys. To be honest, I think I'm gonna need you guys holding the space for me for this week, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna be using the space as a kind of diary cam. So guys, you may get me on here all types of mad hours in the morning. I don't know how it's gonna go. You might get me on here at 3 a.m. Because another thing is as well, I haven't been able to sleep at all. And I've been thinking about coming on the lives, but now I'm kind of moving into, hey, Ange, how are you? I feel like guys, is it just me, or do I feel like I haven't seen you lot for ages? Or am I just imagining it? It's so nice to see y'all. Thanks, Ange. Appreciate you, Carl. All right. So it involves a feedback loop between the I'm not going to say all of these again. And when a stressor is detected, the hypothalamus releases corticotropin, releasing hormone CRH, which stimulates the pituitary to release adrenocorticotropic, adrenocorticotropic, something like that, hormones, ACTH, and this signals the adrenal glands to produce cortisol. Oh my gosh, this is my exact condition, which helps the body to cope with the stress by increasing energy. Guys, this is my condition that I'm reading out. I have Addison's, I have hyperadrenalism, and it's because of the cult. All right. Oh, you just had a baby. Oh, congratulations, Queen. I know that you're a really good mum. So I'm really happy that you had another baby. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, congrats, Queen. Your baby must be so cute. Your kids are so cute. All right. So we're going to look at how the HPA axis works, yeah? So the hypothalamus, when the brain perceives a stressor, the hypothalamus releases the CRH hormones, and then the pituitary gland releases that hormone, and then it travels through the pituitary gland, causing it to release ACTH, which is that adrenocorticotropic or whatever hormone. Yes, so it's all about the hormones. They're releasing these hormones, and these hormones are important, guys, Like these little adrenal glands here, you probably didn't even know these existed, a lot of people, until I started talking about it. Yeah. And these are like the little organs. It's all like autoimmune. So when you get stressed out and it's the trauma and you're having to release too much cortisol now because you're in fight or flight mode, you're not sleeping, you're always stressed out, there's always these demands, it starts to take its toll on your organs, on the little organs that you didn't even know existed, man. It's crazy. So it travels through the bloodstream to the adrenal cortex, where it stimulates the release of corticosteroids, such as cortisol. And these hormones help the body manage stress by increasing blood sugar and metabolism, preparing the body for fight or flight mode. So once cortisol levels are high enough, they signal back to the hypothalamus and pituitary to slow down or stop the release of the hormones, which helps to shut off the stress response. So this is why, you see why I've got hyperadrenalism, Addison's, because I was constantly in fight or flight mode and my adrenals were overworked trying to cope with the stressful environment. Because we can't show emotion, so we had to internalize all of the emotions. But where does that go? Like if you don't cry, if you don't get to talk about your emotions. Oh, this is lovely. This is a pink cloud. Oh, I like this one. If you don't get to show all your emotions and you don't get to release it and whatnot, then where does it go? It gets trapped and it gets stored in the body, and then it starts confusing all the rest of your organs. And then, yeah. All right. So we understand what the HPA axis is. So I just wanted to give a little bit of context. So the HPA axis, the glucocorticoids, so that's the hormone. So we understand it a little bit more, innit? And the immune change. So let's look at this. So chronic psychosocial stress. So this is isolation, fear, overwork, shame. So when they're isolating you, giving you silent treatment, making you walk on eggshells, it's the same as like abusive relationships and marriages, yeah? It's just that it's getting done, you know, at a like collective level, you know, with audiences or whatever. This stuff's deep in it, guys. But we need to deconstruct from this. And some of y'all need to get health checks, man. Go and get health checks. Just face it. Come face to face with the chronic illness. Do you know what I mean? Just stop running from it and get some help. Because a lot of the wogs and whatever in there, guys, honestly, they're just gonna unalive young. Because they're living with like these chronic illnesses and they have like absolutely they're not on any meds, they're not on like none of their levels or anything are getting checked out. They're just like just ignoring it, like just thinking God's gonna heal them or whatever, their faith or whatever. All right. Then we've got, all right, so did I say, yeah, okay. So cortisol, these hormones help the body manage stress by increasing wait, hold on. God, guys, I'm so sorry. I've gone to the wrong bit. Where did I go? All right, okay. All right, so the chronic psychosocial stress, so the isolation, fear, overwork, shame, activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, so the HPA. So that's what we just spoke about, raising cortisol and alerting immune function. Over time, this creates an inflammatory profile and dysregulated immunity. So that's what I've got, hyperadrenalism. When you start perimenopause, all the unresolved trauma comes up too. Oh, wow, is it? Wow. So it's best to start it younger, innit? So that you can kind of deal with it. But anyway, the generations are waking up now, Ange. So we're not slaves anymore to like these systems, you know what I mean? It's so sad that they lie to us about so much. It's like they don't want us to know about ourselves. Stress and cancer biology. So animal and human studies suggest chronic stress can change tissue, microenvironments, and immune cell behavior in ways that may promote tumor progression and metastasis. So I had a benign tumor Before I had the hyperadrenalism, because I just weren't going to the GPs, I weren't taking the medication, I thought it was EVIR, I nearly unalived, I nearly went into Addison's crisis, because my pastor's wife, yeah, she never used to take no tablets, not even paracetamol. She would have like fennel, fennel in water, and she'd just be sitting there burping all day from morning until night drinking Coke. So, it's like you're just not seen as spiritual. It has to be like a life or unalivement situation. That's why people get so sick in there. Like it has to get like really bad for people to like get some sort of like medical attention. And to be honest, I think it's like that in our community anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just on steroids, like on 100. It's exasperated in these cults. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it's at 100. Look at how they're reporting me up for consuming substances. I'm not coming off, babe. I'm not coming off. You're not going to inconvenience me today. So, because they know I'm speaking straight facts and truths. Okay. So then, where were we? So although like it will be hard for us to prove that these cults made us get cancer or cause the cancer or whatever, we can just see through, like the physiology and the biology around stress and cancer and things like that. We can connect the dots. Do you see what I'm saying? And relate it to the environment and the stress. So that I'm gonna do content around do's and don'ts before you leave, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a wave of people leaving from around nowish. I think they're going to be sorting out their cult exit plans and leaving around December or January. So I'm going to do the do's and don'ts. I want people to start capturing evidence before they leave. So if you're on here and you're sitting on the fence, please don't leave group chats. They will take you out of group chats, but don't delete the group chats. Take screenshots of all of the evidence before you leave and put it in like a folder, archive it, whatever, because you're going to want them receipts. I'm telling you, keep all your pictures. Don't delete your pictures. Keep your pictures, like archive them. You got to have receipts, bitch. You got to be like, because you don't cure now and you're like, oh, I'm so hurt, I just want to delete everything, but you're deleting all your evidence. You're deleting all your claims. When you leave, they might start bitching about you, like dragging your name through the mud and whatnot. And you've got your receipts. You've got your stuff to say, oh, well, like when you leave, like they try to say, like, say like you were like the praise and worship leader for like 10 years, or you were like, I don't know, like the head department of like media. They'll lie. They'll say, oh, we didn't know you, like this. So keep your receipts, keep all your receipts, dodgy messages from Preds in the cult, whatever. Keep all your photographic evidence that you've got and put it in a folder as well. And I'm going to start helping people with like yeah, I can see it coming up now, babe, but I'm why are you asking? Is it, have I missed something? What did you want me to pin it? Pin the comment, Lush. Hey Queen, Lush, pin your comment, because I'm seeing this comment, but I haven't seen any other comments from you. What if it, look back up under the chat, and if the comment's there, pin it so that I can see. Is it because especially if it's to do with this and it can help me to if it's, is it something that can help what I'm talking about, babe? Because if it is, pin it. Yeah, okay. So but this is the first comment I've seen coming through from you. All right, so where am I? Okay. So animal and human studies suggest chronic stress can change tissue microenvironments and immune cell behavior in ways that may promote tumor progression and metastasis. For example, via glucocorticoid effects and neutrophil extracellular traps. I don't know what that is. There's growing literature linking elastostatic load, the physiological toll of chronic stress, with worse cancer outcomes. So again, can you see, it's like these are like triggers, these can exasperate like the cells. Do you know what I'm saying? So for example, someone might have a tumor that's there, that's benign, that's like dormant, and it's like the stress, it's like that being in these high control, continuous stressful environments, it can like wake up the cells. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, cause this tumor and the progression of this metastasis. Again, I'm not a doctor, guys. So if there's someone on any of the platforms that have, I don't claim to be a doctor, I don't claim to be a, this is just me going off, you know, like what I read in my spare time and trying to link the dots. I don't know why it keeps going down to this. It's so annoying. All right, so let's look at the elastic load and autoimmune disease. Repeated stress responses wear down regulatory systems. Repeated stress responses wear down regulatory systems. Okay, so it's the repeated response to the stressful environments, the silent treatment, having to walk on eggshells, not knowing if they're going to be in a good mood, bad mood, shout at you, if you're going to get a rebuke, whatever, if they're going to lay into you. You know, you don't know what you're going to face that day. All right. So it just causes the body to just continuously go into fight or flight mode, and then the organs, and then you're just like that, and then eventually the body will just start to shut down, and that's when they start to get like cancers, or like myself, go into Addison's crisis, or it's like the body is screaming for help, the body that they neglect. So do you see the link as to why I'm speaking about this? Because they neglect the body and they put so much pressure on the mind, body, and soul. They will push your mind, body, and soul to the absolute limits, to the point where all of these organs that you didn't even know existed start shutting down. Oh God, I still got this horrible cough. All right.
Save £168 on 3's unlimited SIM value plan, now from
Okay.
£25 a month. Don't miss out. Go unlimited today.
So the repeated stress, okay, I've said that. So this increases inflammation and dysregulates immunity.
Your mid-century item is back.
So the mechanisms implicated in autoimmune disease risk and progression, and systematic reviews and cohort studies link higher elastic load to chronic disease risk. All right, so again, guys, this is just in a nutshell. Just the more stressed out you are in these environments, the more of a toll it takes on, you know, the neurosystem and all of the different workings. Do you know what I'm saying? That are supposed to like help us manage stress and prepare us for fight or flight mode. But remember that amygdala is shut down, which helps us to prepare for, you know, dangers and for like potential, you know, things that could happen or whatever. So all of that gets shut down. And then the smallest organs that you didn't even know are there, like the adrenal glands, for example, just start to unalive. Like I've only got one. So, oh no, Lucia, you blocked Osas. Girl. He's a survivor, girl. What did he say? Lucia, please don't just block anyone, babe. Make sure you're blocking, because Osas is a survivor, girl. He's from my branch, babe. My old branch. So just make sure that they're... Give people a little bit more of a chance today, babe, because we're talking about serious things, so this can really deconstruct them. Is Osas, are you on here? Can someone tag Osas? Do you not know his... Can someone at him, please? Can someone at Osas? Are there any mods on here, guys? So, oh, where was I? Yeah. So it's like, so I basically only have one adrenal gland because they had to remove one surgically because my adrenal gland just unalived. It just couldn't cope with it because I was there for 18 years and my body was trying to tell me, you know, get out. But because they indoctrinate you so much, like, to, you know, it's just the spirit man all the time. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, let me see if I can send the live to him, actually. Does anyone know OSAS? Oh, there it is. All right, hopefully he should get the link now. All right. So let's look at the philosophy, the metaphysics, and how meaning is constructed and used as control. Yeah, so let's look at this. So what the hell? Refined. Okay, guys, mina blood clot. No, this is the first time I've seen this word. Refined spirituality and metaphysical claims. So leaders convert metaphysical claims. You are a spirit man. The body is temporary. You know, God's going to give you a brand new vessel. You know, this is temporary. You know, you've got to focus on your spirit man, because that's the part of you that lives on forever. This, that, and the third. Into moral imperatives. When a metaphysical story becomes a prescriptive ethic, it's harder for members to question without existential fear of spiritual consequences, fear of going to HEOL, fear of not being spiritual enough, fear of not making it to heaven, fear of seeming worldly, fear of being blacklisted or seen as worldly, you know, not a spiritual son or daughter of the house. Hey, Glanville, you know, all of that. So let's look at the epistemic authority and testimony. When leaders claim access to supernatural knowledge, experiential practices such as tongues, visions, word of knowledge, prophetic utterances are treated as evidence in group. So this is like evidence that they're, you know, mogs, evidence that God is speaking to them. Like in RPF, they call him Pa, and they say things like, if you disobey Pa, you're disobeying God, because he's God's servant. And in RPF, they call Austin Pa, and they basically say that he's like Moses. He's on the same level as Moses. So guys, I've listen, guys, get ready, boy. Get ready this week for RPF. RPF, get ready. Get ready, baby, because I'm gonna have fun with y'all. I'm gonna have fun with y'all this week, because you get the most vulnerable cohort in there, and I'm really not happy with what I've been hearing. Yeah, not Moses chair. That's what official Posh Vibes has said, not Moses chair. Like, you know, the OG survivors, they really understand the significance of that. That's deep. That's giving Jim Jones vibes, that. I'm concerned about RPF. Epistemic authority and testimony is when leaders claim access to supernatural knowledge, experiential practices, tongues, visions. They're treated as evidence in group. This epistemic loop silences outside knowledge like medicine. Wow. It's an epistemic loop. And you know what else that reminds me of is the information control. That's how they also like control the information. Oh, what do you mean? So you're going to listen to your university professor lecturer over profit. The wisdom is listening to a man with no qualifications, who, you know, an angel visited him. God himself visited him one day. Pa has some crazy stories. He's got some crazy stories about visitations with angels and God and stuff. He's a false prophet, big time. How these mechanisms produce the concrete health outcomes you described. Okay, so this is ChatGPT speaking to me. I'm tired. Avoidance of medical care. All right. So I'm going to talk about how all of these mechanisms that I've been talking about produce like the health outcomes. So, you know, like the stress, the PTSD, the cancers, etc. Because a lot of survivors live with chronic health issues. That's just facts. That's real life. There's a lot of survivors who have cancer, like endometriosis, a lot of chronic health issues, like a lot of us are disabled, whatever. So we need to understand how it fits. And also, I hope this will draw survivors out, because I want a collective of survivors who, like, you know, like your chronic health issues are connected or have been brought on as a result of the cult, and you have medical evidence to prove that, you know, the cult exasperated it or whatever, because I want to take them to court. So avoidance of medical care, doctrinal discouragement. That's why I'm saying, if you lot have messages when you're ill and they're still forcing you and coercing you to come to the church, these are the kind of messages that you need to hold on to, because we're outside in these streets banging on about the coercive control, how they force us to do this, that, and the third. So y'all need to be keeping everything, because one thing I regret is deleting everything. I just deleted all the evidence. Oh my God, just those WhatsApp threads alone. Oh my God, it's just enough to finish the whole cult. So guys, don't get rid of evidence, because in there it's like they breathe out ABUSE. You know that scripture, it says they breathe out violence. I think it's in Proverbs or Psalms. I feel like it's Proverbs though. It's like that's all they know how to do. So avoidance of medical care, and that's because of the health, wealth, prosperity teaching gospel. So it's like we live by faith and not free sight by sight, and it's like you're seen as unspiritual, you know, if you don't have the faith to like receive from prophet to be healed, or even just to heal yourself. So doctrinal discouragement, shaming, or directives to pray instead of lead members to pray instead, lead members to skip screenings, vaccinations, GP visits, reproductive, obstetric care, mental health treatment, and cancer screening. Because remember, mental health, so you know what. So it's like we don't believe in any of that. That's all from the DEVIL, because we know it's demons. And it doesn't matter whether they're doctors, whether they're GPs, whether they believe in their psyche that their prophet can heal this person, this client, this patient that's sitting in front of them. So I'm not impressed when they say they're doctors and lawyers and whatever. It doesn't mean a thing. That's why God says that you shouldn't be a respecter of persons, guys, because that. And I want to say, when I use the word 304, I'm not talking about like gal them like that sleep around. I'm talking the 304 is these church gal them. It's the ones that will do absolutely anything to get the position, to get the promotion. They'll fake miracles, they'll fake healings to get positions, to get promoted. Do you know what I mean? It's the same as like what a 304 would do, like just get anything, just do anything to get positions and so it's within a church cult context. It's a made up terminology that I mean, it's out there and it's used in popular culture, but in the context that I use it, and I'm going to do a video on this as well so people understand it. It's a bit of my quirky dark sense of humor, in which I've used a bit of street slang and converted it into cult jargon. So it's a little bit, it's interesting. It's a little bit of reverse psychology and a bit of a middle finger back to them, really. So it's like things like, you know, they just skip screenings for like, you know, cancer screenings, treatment, etc. This delays diagnosis and worsens outcomes. All right, yeah, I'll get to this point in it because there's loads, and then I'll go and have a little snack, and then I'll come back. All right. Chronic stress biology, sustained lack of safety. So you know, in there you're like walking on eggshells. It's not a safe space. So you're always like in fight or flight, not knowing what to expect, not knowing if you're going to get rebuked, not knowing if you're going to get called out, whatever. It's never good enough, and nothing you do is ever good enough for them. So it's the unpredictability, the punishments, the enforced secrecy, being overworked, various tasks, etc. It produces chronic HPA activation, inflammation, immune suppression, dysregulation, metabolic disturbances, and higher allostatic load. These are mechanistic pathways. These are mechanistic pathways connecting social stresses to heart disease, metabolic syndrome, some autoimmune disorders, and worsening cancer prognosis. So instead of Dag doing up a book, Those Who Are Mad, maybe he should talk about this, because I'm not even a blood clot doctor. But he doesn't want to get into this side of medicine, because if he gets into this side of medicine, then he's going to be exposing him damn self. But he knows about it. Don't ever get it twisted. He knows about it, but he's not choosing to share it because it's all about information control. Instead, he'll tell you about bipolar, because that's when people are independent and disloyal. He's just the guy's not okay. He's not okay. Poor self-care and comorbidity, sleep deprivation. Comorbidity is just like, a lack of different health conditions. It could need a lot of investigations. Overwork, and the poor self-care is directly as a result of being overworked, not having time for self, needing to be in there 24 hours a day, sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, traumatic stress, and substance use. I want to say as well, because some use the environment to cope as a DRUG, so they get their oxytocin and their dopamine fix from the environment. All right. So this adds to the physiological risk. So post-cult health legacy, research with former members documents higher rates of mental health problems and complex physical health needs. Recovery often requires trauma-informed medical and psychiatric care. You're damn right. I feel like this is reading me for filth, this bit. So, you'll come out with CPTSD. I'm not speaking over your life. It's just that, if you've been in a church for, 5 years, and then you find out that the mob's been blowing out all these girls back, and, it's traumatic. Come on, man. So, so I want to highlight an important caveat in all of this, okay, which is, while stress is associated with increased risk and worse outcomes, causation for specific cancers in individual is complex. Stress is one contributory pathway amongst many, but the mechanistic links are increasingly well documented. Okay. So I'm going to do this last one, guys, and then when I come back, we'll look at how this looks in practice. Yeah, so we'll look at concrete chain linking doctrine, health and harm. All right. Is this making sense, guys? Because this is quite higher level learning and education. So if at any point you don't understand anything, some of the terminologies are a little bit, you need me to explain, just say, can you explain, Lee, or can you give an example? Or just can say, can you break down? Yeah, or BD. So BD will mean breakdown. Yeah, so break it down. So now we're going to look at some key sources. So the most important evidence is in this, all right? So let's look at 1 Corinthians. So that's looking at the verses on tongues and edifications, and there's commentaries around primary scriptural basis for the edification of the spirit claim. So the review for that is that immunology of stress summarizes stress effects on immunity. So do you see how this all works together, guys? Because what they're doing up is they're telling us, focus on the spirit man, focus on the spirit man, focus on the spirit man, focus on the spirit man. So the body gets neglected. Like, how many of these people get exercise? How many of them are drinking enough water? How many of them are eating nutritious meals? How many of them are feeding their kids nutritious meals? I can guarantee you all these people are eating this chicken and chips, chicken and chips, chicken and chips, chicken and chips, yeah? Unless you go to RPF, then they're just going to rinse you dry. They won't give you food for free. Well, they'll probably give but what they do is they make the rich members pay, because they know people that have money in there, and then the poor people, they'll probably give them free meals and stuff to keep them hooked. So let's look at what I'm going to talk about this now, actually. So let's look at what this looks like in practice. So the leader teaches the spirit that the leader teaches man is a spirit that has a body. No, man is a spirit that lives in a body that has a soul. So then they bring in that tongues build your spirit. So then religious practices become the root to this status, this spiritual, like this hyper religiosity, being seen as a strong Christian, being seen as, a leader or whatever. So questioning the systems and the doctrine and whatever is shamed. You're shunned, you're silenced, you're humiliated. You know, they let you know that that's not what we do around here. Members, and then what that leads to as well is that there's this kind of walk by faith and not by sight doctrine is very dangerous. That doctrine has led a lot of people to unalive because they haven't got treatment for cancers and all different types of things, man. It's so sad. So members delay GP visits, screenings, internalize that physical care is worldly, and just anything that's out there is worldly. Chair. They even got their own doctors, like in the cults. So there'll be people who this is real story. A so-called doctor and pastor told this girl not to do her therapy in the uni because it was worldly, and because she's a doctor, she was going to help her or whatever, and it was just a train wreck as per usual, because they can't even help themselves. That's why they're in there. So chronic stress from control and just like all the tasks and walking on eggshells and whatever, plus neglect, leads to immune dysregulation, allostatic load, and then this later increases chronic illnesses, faster disease progression, worse outcomes, PTSD, depression, complex physical symptoms, and this is visible in survivor studies and clinical literature. All right, guys, I'm going to take a break here, and then I'm going to come back. It will be, guys, I think it's going to be a bit later because I'm going to spend a bit of time just meditating and just processing this live and a lot of the things that I've spoken about. And then I will come back later. If you guys will come back later, then I'll come back later. But if I'm too tired, I might come back tomorrow. But are you guys gonna come back? Should I come back? What are you lot telling me? Or have you lot got plans? Are the survivors out? Oh, you lot are probably seeing my armpit. I need to need to sort myself out, guys. I've been so depressed. I'm gonna like go and run myself a nice hot bath soon and just go and relax, and you know what I mean, like just a nice bubble bath, put some candles in there and just have this lovely music playing. I've just light so many candles in my room. I'm gonna light about 10 candles and I'm just gonna create that ambiance for myself, because why not? Why not? You know, candles, there's something like really there's a like it's very regal. Do you know what I mean? Like I do love candles, do you know what I'm saying? Like I love candlelight, like atmospheres, and oh god, I love it. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I shall see you soon. Love y'all. I hope the content's helped. Guys, it's recorded on YouTube and Instagram, and that's my account, Leah Laudar 777. So you can go on and watch it afterwards if you need to. All right, bye you two. I'll go, because I am tired.